Hi, everyone. Welcome. Love seeing these tips up on the board each time. I'm Wendy Sachs. I'm a member of the board of Plant Powered Metro New York, and we are thrilled to present this new series, still relatively new series, bite-sized cooking tips from Chef Carole. Plant Powered Metro New York empowers people to find better health through whole food, plant-based nutrition. Using the food as medicine model, we bring evidence-based guidance on nutrition, health, and disease, especially addressing chronic diseases. So, my dear friend Carole, what's on the menu tonight?
Oh, thank you, Wendy, so much. We have bite-sized tip today, and it is about making vegetable broth or stock out of your scraps that you cut all during the week. So the very first thing that I want to clarify is some people call it stock, some people call it broth, right? And the words are interchangeable, okay? The word broth actually comes from, people say that that's mostly when you're cooking bones, and the word stock, actually, yes, the stock is from the bones, and the broth is usually from meat or cooking vegetables, okay? But it doesn't matter what you call it. So why do I talk about this all the time during my demos? Because I'm about not wasting any food scraps, any pieces of food. And so much of when you buy a broth or stock in a box at the store, it has, one, a lot of salt. It has also a lot of artificial flavors, and it's kind of can be pretty bland. So why not make your own broth so that you know exactly what you're eating and you can control what you're putting in and you can determine the flavors, okay? Now, sometimes I do start from, if I want to make a really special broth for, I don't know, risotto or something, maybe I'll start with whole vegetables. But why when I always have all these scraps? So what I do during the week, as I'm preparing different kinds of meals, I am constantly putting away all the scraps. But I'm not putting away every single vegetable into this bag. And this bag lives in the freezer, okay? Until I'm ready, and I try to get it full so that I can just put it in here. So what goes in, I want to tell you, are the following you must have. You must have onions, you must have carrots, and you must have celery. Those are the three primary vegetables that you need to always have in your stock. And then, of course, tomatoes are really great. Mushrooms are good. Pieces of garlic are good. Parsnips are good. And any delicate herbs. And you might say, what is a delicate herb? A delicate herb is like having fresh thyme or some fresh parsley. Okay, so what we're going to quickly do is we're going to get a big pot, right? And we're going to just put all these vegetables in our hot pot. Now, you might ask, can I only use a yellow onion, right? Can I only use a yellow onion? Of course not. I save every part of every kind of onion, whether it's the skin, whether it's the root, or whether it's the leek and it's the big green part. You want all of the onion, okay? Any part of the onion, any part of the celery, any part of the tomato, any part of the mushroom, okay? All the parts are what you want, okay? So here I'm just gonna take out, and I can show you when I'm putting this in, just so you can kind of see. But I have a big bag. This bag that I have is gonna go back in the freezer, waiting for the next batch, okay? And I'm just gonna show you what is inside this pot so you understand. I have ends of an onion. I have a bunch of tomato. I had to squeeze a bunch of tomatoes earlier in the week. I didn't need the juice, so I saved all the juice. I have lots of tops from scallions and onions. I have lots of carrot ends, the tips, and the roots. And I have some celery in here. I don't have any mushrooms. And what you want to do is get this on a medium flame, okay? And then you want to just cover however much. I don't always make a big pot. Sometimes I just make a little pot, okay? And I usually run through my refrigerator too to see if there's anything in the fridge that maybe could just go into the stock that's not in the bag. So in other words, I had this really limpy carrot that was left in the bag, so that's going in. I also have this onion that's half cut, and I'll probably use this later, but might as well get the roots off of this and get the skin off of this, and we'll get this also into the pot, okay? And then I sometimes look into my garlic, and I look inside, and I see if there are any of those little pieces that I can't stand dealing with when you want to cut them up, and I just throw those in there, okay? So all of this means that when you're cutting during the week and you're making your soup, it means that you're being very efficient with all the food that you've bought because you're cutting the whole carrot, but when you have the little root, you're now saving it to make something else, okay? So it's really efficient, it's cost efficient, and it's also good for, the environment as well. So you're gonna put water into the pot, and this is a big 8-cup Dutch oven. So I need actual 2 quarts to fill this up. And again, if you don't have a lot of vegetables, but you want to get them covered, okay? And then you want to bring this to a boil, okay? That's important. And then I'm going to put in, just for some extra flavors, some bay leaves, and I'm going to put a little bit of thyme. And then I actually have a little bit of parsley here. And if I have parsley, I actually get rid of the stems in here. And then most of this parsley is still very good. It's not even yellow, so I don't really want to waste good parsley into my stock. And I'm just going to put all that in there. And then I would put the lid on it, and I would get it to boil. And then how long do you cook it for? I would say a good 30 to 45 minutes. If it goes an hour, it's really okay. There's no right or wrong time. You just want to get it a nice golden color, okay? That's your goal, and that will happen as the vegetables cook and everything starts to reduce. And then the most important tip that I want to tell you is that when you strain this, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to get a bowl, and you're going to get a sieve, a mesh sieve, and you're going to pour your broth through this sieve, and you're going to really push down on your vegetables. And because there's a lot of water, and you're going to really smash things, and you're going to see that little bit of carrots or tomato, all that little set are going to come through, and you're going to use that, and it's going to be extra flavor. And the last thing that I want to tell you is there are many rules, and you could read about this all over the internet, but the one thing that is very consistent amongst everybody is the things that you don't put in your stock are cruciferous vegetables, okay? You don't want to be putting in your broccoli, your kale, any of your cruciferous vegetables, because cauliflower, because Brussels sprouts, it ends up getting too bitter. So you don't want to use the cruciferous vegetables. Now, I learned a lot of my cooking from a woman named Deborah Madison, and her school of thought is if you're making a soup and it has a specific vegetable in it, then that's what your stock is based on. So if I today were making butternut squash soup with ginger in it, I could put the peels of the butternut squash into the stock, and it was going to have ginger in it. I could put the ginger in it. If I was going to have cilantro in my soup, I could put some cilantro. But that stock would be very specific to that recipe. So you would only do that if you know you're making a specific recipe and you're going to use all the stock. So ultimately, once you've boiled it, cooked it for 30 to 40 minutes, then you've strained it, and then you put it in a jar just like this, any kind of type, and this will stay in your refrigerator for a good 5 to 7 days. And you can also freeze it. They do make large silicone molds that are like big blocks, and you can freeze your broth in any kind of ice cube form so that you can use it later on. And that's basically your tip, is making your own vegetable stock out of your scrap vegetables. Simple as that.
Awesome. Carole, that's simply awesome. And maybe we can have the list on the screen again Jim, just so people have it. And we did get one super fast question. Understand about the onion skins. What about the paper? Do you put the onion paper in?
Everything. I put everything. Literally, if I could, sometimes I peel this whole piece. Look at this whole garlic. I will literally peel the paper into the thing. I will throw the whole piece of garlic right in. This whole garlic right in there. Done. So any little teeny garlics that I have in my thing, the whole thing goes in there. So you're not wasting anything. I call it use all of it. Just use all of it.
I love that. Environmentally conscious and kitchen and economically conscious too. Carole, thank you so much. That was an excellent, wonderful tip. To everyone, please join us for our series on Quick Bites and also our regularly scheduled monthly cooking show with Chef Carole. The next one is going to be this Sunday, September 12th at 5 o'clock Eastern. And you'll find us exclusively on the Plant Powered Metro New York Facebook and YouTube channels. And for ongoing events, I realized I should put this in the chat. You can follow us at www.plantpoweredmetronewyork.org, and also you can follow Chef Carole through her website, theveggievanguard.com, or Instagram at the Veggie Vanguard. Carole, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for coming.